What's happening, tabletop gamers? My name is LeunameGames, and welcome back to LeunameGames Unboxes. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Terra Mystica by Helge Ostertag and Jens Drögemüller, and published by Capstone Games and Feuerland. Let's have a look at the back here and see what this is about. Terra Mystica is a strategy game with a simple game principle and very little luck involved. You govern one of 14 factions trying to transform the landscape on the game board in your favor in order to build your structures. On the one hand, proximity to other players limits your options for further expansion. On the other hand, though, it provides some benefits during the game. This conflict is the source of Terra Mystica's appeal. Structures may be upgraded to provide even more resources like workers, priests, money, and power. Build temples to gain more influence in the 4 cults of fire, water, earth, and air. Build your stronghold to activate your faction's special ability. Expand and build new dwellings to have many workers at hand. Or make sure to have a constant flow of money by building training houses. The 14 artfully designed factions, each having unique special abilities, as well as the exchangeable bonus cards, allow for a large number of possible gameplays that constantly keep this game entertaining. I have heard a lot about this game. Many people still claim that it is one of the best games ever made. So I am really curious to see what all this game has and see if it really does live up to the hype that everyone's been building it up with. So with all that said, let's have a look and see what does Terra Mystica have to offer us. The game comes with a board, and at first glance it seems to be a pretty standard sized board for a big box game. It comes with a few different features on it, including the stereotypical scoreboard around the edge that I must say looks very nice. There's also a map of the world that makes up Terra Mystica with what looks like 7 different terrains, along with rivers that separate the terrain into various sections. Over here is what looks like a round track, so it seems like this game can only go for 6 rounds, which sounds kind of short for a game this big. Down here is what looks to be a series of reminders of the different actions that you can take, and up here looks to be a small reference chart to show how you can earn bonus points at the end of the game. There are 7 player boards that come with the game, and each one of these is double-sided with a faction on each side, just like the game said. So I can already tell there's going to be a lot of replay value here just from the factions. And just from the look of it, there's a lot of stuff on these player boards that you're going to need to keep track of. This here seems to be a power track that you'll use to perform various actions, which are represented, I believe, by these little purple discs down here. This chart here seems to be a little storage space for all of your pieces. I'm having a hard time figuring out whether these are all the costs in order to construct all these, or these are a benefit once you construct them. Taking a quick peek at the other ones, it does seem, for the most part, that the costs or whatever these symbols are on these are the same, although there is some differences between the player boards in some areas, which is very interesting. And so there is going to be a very different set of play styles depending on the faction. There's also this little symbol here, which I have also noticed is different for many of the different factions, so that I'm assuming this is going to be a special ability that only that faction has access to. Each of these factions is surrounded by what looks like a wheel of the different terrains that are in the game. Obviously, you have the starting terrain being their big circle here, of that being different depending on the faction. I am assuming that these shovels around it is going to show you how much you need to do in order to expand your empire, or whatever this thing is, to these types of terrains. This is probably what you start the game with, and what kind of cult that your faction will be worshipping. And this appears to be an alternative way to score points that is the same for each faction to an extent, that is similar to the chart that is on the main board, although there is some slight differences I've noticed for each of the factions depending on what factions that you are playing with. So that's very interesting, and some very nice looking symbology here. Here I can see what everything is. Nothing seems to be blending into the background of the board, which is very nice. There is what they call a cult track that comes with the game, and these represent the 4 types of cults that your factions will be worshipping: fire, water, earth, and air, the 4 basic elements. Based just on what I'm looking at here, I'm assuming that this is going to be a way to score bonus points at the end based on how high you climb in the cult's tower, as well as a way to earn extra power if you reach a certain level. But that's just a guess. I've also noticed that there is a little key at the top of each of these tracks, and I am not sure what that key is for, but I'm assuming that it is going to be some form of objective that you'll need to obtain before you're allowed to get to the top of the track. The game comes with a whole bunch of terrain tiles, and these tiles are double-sided, showing 2 terrains on each one. And I'm pretty confident when I say that these tiles are going to be used to alter the terrain on the board to make it more favorable for your faction. I am curious on why they decided to make these terrain tiles circles rather than hexagons like they have on the board. I'm willing to guess that they decided that it would be a lot easier to handle, and that if you were to accidentally like shift one, you'd be causing a lot less chaos on the board than you would with a hexagon, because not as much of each of the tiles are touching each other. I must also say these are very nice tiles. They are very thick, very sturdy, so you're not going to have any issues with accidentally bending them. In terms of the art though, not as strong to me. Some of these tiles, particularly what they call these wastelands and these mountains, kind of look a little similar here apart from the color. Same thing goes with these forests, and I believe these are swamps. Those kind of look a little bit the same to me. So if you are colorblind, there is a chance that you might have some difficulty telling these apart. There are a whole bunch of coins that come with the game, more than I'm showing on the screen here, and they come in the denominations of 5, 2, and 1, which is pretty standard for the most part, except normally it would be 1, 3, and 5. So I do find it odd that they decided to go with is 1 and 2, considering, I mean, they're right next to each other. So that was an interesting decision by them, but these are very well done. They're very nice quality. I'm not able to bend any of these, which is great. They're also very easy to tell apart, because not only are the numbers very well done and very easily distinct, but they're also different sizes. So if you are colorblind, you shouldn't have any issues with telling which coins are which. Moving this out of the way, the game also comes with these power tokens, is what they called, and these are what you are going to be using to track how much power is within your faction on this little corner portion of your board. There's an orange pawn that comes with the game, and this is meant to be the first player token. As generic as that is, I do like that they decided to make it a different color than all the player colors. There are a bunch of what they call dwellings that come with the game, and these are what are going to be your starting places for your faction. There are 8 of each color, and I kind of like that they decided to have them be like a little wooden house, because it's really cute. Kind of reminds me a lot of another game. I gotta say though, I do not like the fact that there is no way to tell these apart other than their colors, so if you are colorblind, this could be an issue. There are a whole bunch of what they call trading houses that come with the game, and these look very similar to another game, but I can't figure out what it is. But anyways, this is supposed to be the next level up from your dwelling. I'm still having issues with the colors. Again, these colors seem to be the only thing that is different from all of these. There are a bunch of what they call temples that are made up of these round discs. There are 3 of each type for each player. And I'm beginning to sense a trend here with these pieces, as there are no way to tell which is which other than the colors. There are 7 of these roundish rectangular cylinder type things. These are meant to be sanctuaries, 1 for each player. These are meant to be 1 of 2 maximum buildings you can have. They go above the temples, which are the cylinders, and they go above the trading houses, just in case I forgot to mention that. The other max building you can have are these of what they call strongholds. And I kind of like the shape that they went with here. They kind of look like the bare bones outline of what a castle would look like, with the walls surrounding with a circular-ish kind of tower. That's actually pretty nice. There are these little character guys that come with the game, 7 for each player, and these are meant to be the priests that you will recruit. I'm assuming to spread your influence throughout the game. And I gotta say, I do like the way these look. They didn't just go for a stereotypical wooden character. They made a little design of their own to separate it from all the other ones that you get. There are a bunch of what they call the natural colored workers, which I believe are going to be used to help you construct everything that you own throughout the game, or to perform various actions on the side of your board. There's 5 100-point markers that come with the game, and these are used to signify whether or not you've gone over 100 points on the score track. There's a whole bunch of bridges that come with the game, 3 for each player, and these are what you're going to be using to connect the various landscapes on the board. These pieces are really giving me flashbacks to some other game, but I can't figure out what it is. There is what they call a game end token, and this is really just a round tracker. It tracks what round you're on. There are these favor tokens that come with the game, and these, I think, are meant to represent favors that you can get from the various cults, depending on how high you climb on the cult track. Once again, these are very nice tiles. No issues with accidentally bending them. The symbology, not too sure about. It seems pretty simple, but then again, I haven't read the rules yet, so they could be a lot more complicated than they look. I will say though, the symbology for the different types of cults that are in the game are very easy to see. They have a clearly dismarked feature on each of the tiles, so you shouldn't have any issues with telling them apart. There are 10 of what they call town tokens that come with the game, and each of these seems to have some form of reward that you can get if you get it, and they have a key on it, so I think this is what you need to obtain in order to get to the top of these cult tracks. Testing the thickness of these tiles, and they are very nice. They are very thick. No need to worry about accidentally bending them. Now, moving all of this out of the way for a minute, the game also comes with what they call action tokens. These little tokens that have an X marker on them, and I am pretty confident that these are going to be used to represent you taking actions of these 6 action types that are on the bottom of the board. Considering the fact that they perfectly match the space that they would be covering, I'm pretty sure that these are going to be where they go, to signify that you've used it. There are 8 of these scoring tiles that come with the game, and these are not double-sided, and these seem to be an alternate way to score points depending on how far you are up with each of the cults, considering each of these has 1, 2, 4 dots representing the 4 cults that come with the game, along with a way to earn points based on what you have done with them. There's another 9 set of bonus tiles that come with the game that seem to also be a way to get a benefit of some kind, and these are all depicted as scrolls, and most of these are split into 2 parts, although some of these are completely unified as one, and these 2-part ones, I'm assuming, are going to be, if you get this, you get to choose which benefit that you get. In terms of the quality, here they are thick, but I can bend them a little bit if I really try, so you may want to be a little bit careful when handling these. There are a bunch of these markers that come with the game, 7 for each of the colors, and these seem to have a variety of uses based on what I am looking at. I believe that some of these will be used for her a scoring marker, and some of these will be used to track where you are with the various cults. The rest of them, whom I believe will have some use in terms of on your player board or somewhere out on the main board, but that's just a guess. There are 5 of what they call overview tiles, and these are used to summarize the various actions that you can do on your turn with, I must say, very good clear symbology. I can tell the difference between each of these symbols. How easy these are to understand, though, remains to be seen. These are very nice thick tiles, though. I can bend them a little bit if I try hard enough, but these are meant to just be as references, so you'll probably just have them sitting out on the table like that. So there really is nothing to worry about with them. There are 12 plastic bags that come with the game that you can use to put all of your stuff in. And last but not least, the rulebook. So that is everything that you'll get if you obtain Terra Mystica. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. If you want to learn how to play Terra Mystica, or if you want to know my thoughts on it, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more tutorials, reviews, and unboxings. Thank you all as always so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.